Hello, and welcome to WHEDA Connect training. Today we will be covering the role of the Delegated Administrator, their duties and responsibilities. All of the information contained in this presentation is for training purposes only. In the ever-changing environment of this industry, please note that guidelines are subject to change without notice. Please visit our website to view full program details. Let's start by reviewing the definition and general overview of the Delegated Administrator. DAs are typically managers or team leads within your organization. They must be authorized by your company to serve in this role as indicated on the DA agreement that is signed at the time of lender approval. DAs may or may not be active WHEDA Connect users. They do have full access within their role, including the ability to see all loans. Your responsibility as a DA include maintaining accurate user information, adding and deleting users, setting up user permissions and access, and maintaining passwords for each user. Each lender has a minimum of one delegated administrator and must execute the agreement prior to being granted administrative rights within WHEDA Connect. So who would be considered users of WHEDA Connect? Loan officers listed at the bottom of the 1003, processors or individuals responsible for gathering documentation, submitting documents, and working with the underwriter to get a loan approved. Post-closers are those that are responsible for submitting documents post-closing. And finally, secondary or lock desk staff that are used primarily in a centralized organizational structure. The DA will provide each of these with his or her login credentials, issue and change permissions, and reset passwords as needed. To log in to WHEDA Connect, you would go to www.wheda.com and find the link for WHEDA Connect at the top of the page. Click on the link and input your username and password. The DA's username and temporary password will be issued by WHEDA upon lender approval. Once you have logged in, the first step is to set up and/or manage users. You can do this by clicking on the Manage Users link on the left hand of the screen. In this screen, you can search for an existing user, view all users, and add a new user. Newly added users will not receive an automated email with their login and temporary password. The delegated administrator will need to provide that to the user. Setting up a new user is as easy as entering their information into the User Information section. Note that items identified with a red asterisk are required in order to save a new user. The Credentials tab is utilized to manage a user's login and password. WHEDA requires that password be changed by the user with their first login and every 60 days thereafter. You will also utilize this tab to change employees that have left your organization to an inactive status. If you have employees that will be entered into the system but are not active users of WHEDA Connect, they can still remain in active status. Once you have a user set up, you will want to assign a role and permissions. You will do this in the Roles, Loan Access, and Permissions tab. The options are Loan Officer, Processor, Secondary, and Post-Closer. The loan officer role must be assigned for broker channel transactions, and the secondary role is required for mini correspondent and correspondent channel transactions. Users can be granted either corporate access, which allows the user to see all loans assigned to them and their company, or individual access, which only allows the user to see the loans assigned to them. This is also where you will indicate whether a user can only view or view and create loans in WHEDA Connect. The Relationships tab allows the admin to assign processors or post-closers to newly registered loans originated by a specific loan officer or secondary staff, depending on your delivery channel. So if the same processor works with a specific loan officer, they can be auto-assigned to each loan. There can only be one processor or post-closer linked to them. The user can also assign these roles manually at the time of loan registration if they choose not to auto-assign. The License tab is where you will input a user's NMLS ID and state ID. Although they are the same number, you will need to fill both fields. This tab only needs to be filled out for the loan origination staff. The System Access tab is controlled by WHEDA and can be ignored by the DA. WHEDA provides many resource and training materials. These can be located on WHEDA's Lender Toolkit. This is your one-stop location for numerous resources such as our income and purchase price limits, product comparisons, forms and exhibits, and WHEDA Connect training tools. You can also find the staff roster that lists all departments and members of that department. This does include general email addresses for underwriting, servicing, lock desk, and WHEDA Connect support. As our lending partners, we want to provide the best support system for our lenders. You can find information on our website, call our toll-free number, contact sales directly at sales@wheda.com, or visit the staff roster. We are here for you. Our sales team is committed to you, our lending partners. Whether it is Mary, Marquita, or Nicole that services your area, we all work as a team and will be one call or email away if you need assistance. Thank you for choosing WHEDA.